What's the difference?
The main difference is that the meter we used to have now has a backflow prevention device in it. So that's all what it is right there, because we're no longer using just a straight meter. And the backflow meters, backflow device with meter, what are they around $1,500?
$1,507.
Say again, please.
1507.
1507.
This page here is,
That's what we, in the back page is what has all the costs in there already. That's what we were using, we had to change it because we're now using the new device. So basically, in the other ones, like on that hydrant meter, the deposit permit was $600, that's what the meter used to cost us $600. So if they were to lose it, or somebody stole it, or it got damaged, they would have to pay. And now, I'm assuming they'd have to pay for a brand new one, $1,507. That'd be they pay that deposit. If that's what we want to do, and what we want to charge a monthly and a daily fee.
hydrant hose loan fee, then hydrant hose replacement fee, $100. How long of a hose are you proposing? 20 foot?
Most of them have their own hose already, you know.
I know $100 won't cover it.
Do we even rent hoses out?
No. Fire department has some old cotton ones that we used to have them back here, somebody didn't have one. We do that $15, but they were great.
So basically, the only thing we really use is the deposits for the meters and
That's what we did.
Yeah.
daily, and do we ever loan a wrench?
No, I don't think we do.
I mean, we can still leave it on there, but I just don't. Probably the bottom 4 we don't even use, huh?
If some
If
guys.
somebody wants it.
How many meters with those backflow things on you got out now on?
We're up to 5, and I think we're going to have to order one more.
Yeah, we had some company yesterday come in.
Yeah, we have it, so we're going to set him up today.
So who 5 do we have? What 5 do we have out?
Which contractors?
Yeah.
We have the Wreck Brothers, Jim Hicks.
What brothers got 2?
No, they have one. Jim Hicks, Tim Pauley, Dirt Works. Mike Lemons is going to get one today, and this new contract.
WW, Clyde, or whatever the name is.
And then we have one up at Danny Colony, that's the 6th one. For Chris Camasy.
And it's got the meter on too, or?
Well, we don't have it yet, but we have to order one.
So we'll fix them out there.
Well, so limits is probably a short term use, isn't it? So then we probably don't need to have an extra one.
No.
So the way that works, I guess, is, if I understand this right, if you want to come in short term, you pay the $1,500 deposit check like we've done. You got the annual fire hydrant deposit $50, and now done the monthly or the daily at that time. So now we got to figure out what we want to charge them monthly for the use of that meter with backflow.
Is it 1,200 or 1,500?
That was the whole one there. And we're trying to figure out this.
Yeah. So if they're 1,500, we need at least 1,500.
Yeah, for the first line.
So it was 15 or 1,600. Probably be easier if we went 16 with them.
15, yeah.
Because Western Nevada, they bring those down around their trucks, so there's no freight, or that's
Yeah.
totally including freight.
Yeah, they deliver Tuesdays and Thursdays.
And what's the lead time until they get the pipeline filled up with this? So I'd recommend $1,600 for the refundable. If they don't damage it, come back to good.
Sure. Anything can happen.
And just for information, we usually just hold those checks. The only time we ever cash the checks is if they have to forfeit it
How long can we hold them?
till they bring the meter back.
I don't know if the bank would cash it. You know, if you have it 4 months later.
Yeah, most of the time, most banks will accept them 90 days,
90
days.
That's
Sometimes
usually a
that's
decision
up to 6
that we
months.
do.
I mean, they say 90 days, but you can still given after that.
We could bid one,
Yeah, I mean,
almost a year hold and we pay cash for it.
I think you have to go and take them, you just can't put them in your deposit. So how about the monthly fee, meter fee? Before it was $90.
I think that's a fair amount. Jim, you think 90's enough?
I'd run it up to 100 just because we've got more merchandise out there.
Yeah,
It's got the backflow
exactly.
pressure reducer gizmo in there.
Can you check those out, Ron, when they bring them back to make sure they work? That they didn't damage them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ron, you're probably, these meters are going to be more in the summer months, aren't they?
Yes.
So we probably have about 5 to 6 months that they'll be really usable, otherwise we'll be freezing them.
The city code allows the water department to shut them off, or because of freeze damage, we
Yeah.
discontinue it, so that's in the code.
That's my only concern here, is that if they run back and they're frozen.
That's why I just wanted to be checked
Have
out.
to do the deposit then.
So $100 for the meter?
Yeah, let's go with 100 on a monthly meter fee.
Yeah, I think so.
So you just base that for like that, or?
Yeah, daily, about $3 a day or $5 a day. You need it all month, it'd be
Yeah.
$150.
How much?
$5.
$5?
Yeah.
That's it. And Ron, do these things have a serial number on or something? That, because I think Tim Paul was talking about buying his own. We have a way of identifying.
Yes. Tim had his own before, but it didn't have the backflow preventer, and the way this all kind of went, it was where the city has to provide it.
Okay.
The way we're doing it right now is we've got a chain and lock, so if they want to move to another location, we'll go move them.
Okay, for example, the Wright brothers, if they get that big storage tank on the highway out there, they'll have one of those there. So that'll be based there. But if they take one where they're going from asphalt job to asphalt job, do they have to come to you each time they want to move it?
When they're doing like the Center Street project, it's going to be their own setup, and it's a city project.
If you remember, Rowdy had mentioned, because if he goes from the Center Street, then jumps out to the David E. Norman, so he's going to have to either tram one back or he'll get another meter.
Yeah.
They should.
We still would have to have a backflow
They
preventer
should.
even if they're moving them around.
Yeah,
Even we probably,
Well, the
the option
option
backflows if they're not on a meter, because if they're doing a city project, we don't really care how much water they're using. do we?
Yeah, no, that's exactly right.
So did they make one that's not?
Yeah, we've got 2 of them already for a street with water department.
Oh, they're not.
I don't have water.
They'll
This
have
is the backflow.
Okay, so when they do a project for the city, the contractor could use those, because we don't charge them for water when they do the project.
True. Okay, we can work around that, sounds good. Thanks, Ron.
Okay. Anything else there?
We make a motion to approve the new rates, hydrant backflow, that we discussed.
$1,600.
$1,600 for the backflow device, $100 monthly fee, and $5 daily fee.
Oh, do we want to put a fine in there, or somebody, or is that an ordinance that they hook up without this?
I think it's already in there.
I think it's an NRS.
Yeah. Theft of a public utility. And the shooting. Wasn't bad. Okay.
With this agreement, we just said one contractor has 3 different projects within the city of Ely. He should have 3 different deposits.
Well, he uses, that's for each meter.
For each
Takes that meter, he
Per
can't
meter.
do both.
He has 3 different projects, like we just discussed. One for school district, one for the county out on the highway, You know, you should have three different,
I imagine.
Yeah.
Or you could just
we
move the
can
one.
use the truck, that'd be up to
the
him,
truck
or you,
to
whatever you want, yeah, okay. All right. Motion's been made on these revised rates. I'll second that motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Any public comment? No public comment. We'll move on to number 8. Board members, City Attorney Briggs, discussion for possible action, review and recommendation to the City Council, Ely City Council with regards to proposed ordinance number 658, bill number 2013-04, an ordinance establishing cross-connection control for commercial users of the City of Ely's water system, prevent backflow and backcycling into the City Ely water system. We have a copy of that ordinance, bill number.
I did. We had presented this a month or so ago, and we've been receiving comments from both the state and from the Bureau of Safe Drinking Water. I've incorporated all of those comments into this revised ordinance. So it is what it is. And Marty had mentioned something during his public comment, and I'm assuming that was dealing with this. And so I don't know if you want to make those changes as well.
The hydrant issue that Councilman Westman talked about is in that item D on the second to last page of hydrant use. Other than, it says Ely Municipal Water Department or the Street Department is using that. Or the department approved.
So what change did you do? I can't remember. What change did you want, Marty?
I'm sorry, at the initial public comment, I didn't even make it clear what I was talking about, did I? That you guys figured it out?
Hydrant use, fire and department use that possibly defines the departments to use the fire hydrant. And it says in there, hydrant use is not permitted outside of fire department activities and Ely Municipal Water Department operations and maintenance or a department approval and inspected air gap system department installed. So, there's a street department that uses, Washington streets and the landscape.
I think the question fundamentally is, what users do you want to have on this system? And it should definitely be defined. Department operation, I guess I don't have that copy in front of me, but you're reading from there.
This is a revised one.
You know, I mean, is this misleading? So, you know, we just,
There were some changes by the state, comments by the state on that particular paragraph. So.
Marty's just looking at a different copy.
Yeah.
well, no, I mean, but we just talked about use of contractors and hydrants. Am I seeing it in here?
Which item are you looking at, Tom?
I see what you're saying.
I mean, we just approved contractors use
Yeah.
fire hydrants, and I don't see that addressed in C or B.
That would be a department approved and inspected air gap system properly installed. That would be the use of those meters. The department is the water
Mark,
department.
a department approved and inspected air gap system
City.
properly installed.
City water department.
Approving the contract.
To me, that's not good.
That's not very clear.
Well, for the time being, I think this is fine as long as we define department, who has the authority to approve that system. I think that would have to fall to the water department. And that needs to be defined for this document. But as I remember, I believe we are moving toward a system of having fill sites. And this will become moot at that point, although it would still allow the water department to, it's defining use. So I don't have a problem with this except for not defining who's using this. And I think we all need to understand that we're moving toward fill sites to get away from the use of fire hydrants for these projects.
two scenarios here. One, until we get a fill station in place, I mean, we still have to be able to use construction water or whatever.
Yes.
And that application, what we're doing right now is compliance. Now we're turning around and spending probably another $10,000 or $15,000 for meters that we put a fill station in, may not be required.
Except I think you still use that fill station for construction. I mean, that's not to say that Ron couldn't decide that it would be, if somebody was doing a project, that the water department could decide to use one, but we want to restrict them as much as we can.
We need to have the authority lie with the water department.
You're always
Because-
going to have the individual that doesn't want to pay that $1,600 deposit, that wants to be able to utilize water for a short period of time that the fill station would justify.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry I did not have this revised copy in front of me. So, may I keep this copy?
You can, you've also got a copy in the council.
In the, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so.
I was going off our old, seemed like it was deja vu. We were doing this last month, aren't we? You understand my concerns. Thank you.
So right now, Ron, just a clarification, how many backflow devices and meters do we presently have?
5,
5,
going on 6.
going on 6. It probably would cost $1,600 each, right?
Yeah. Roughly.
In our fill station, let me ask this question, in our fill station that we're going to have engineered and built, hopefully, can those devices be used on that station?
I don't think that we will need that device on that. Well, I don't think you're going to need it on that station
You should
because
have a master.
we have a master backflow preventer. We should probably get a meter because these, I believe, are 2.5-inch meters in the fire hose size. When we come in here and do the load, we probably possibly try to put a little larger meter on there so that when you pull up the fill station, you can fill up in a very timely manner. But we will have a master backflow prevention if we place it down there at the golf course. It's already in place.
Would you have a manifold on that for example, you got 4 contractors, would be a manifold with 4 different meters, or how are we going to?
I wouldn't anticipate that. What we were looking at was at this point just one. I mean, I guess we could come back and put a manifold in or prepare to have another one put in there in case we did come back and see a demand where
Okay, we're getting off
you
the
have
agenda.
contractors lined
We're
up.
getting off the agenda item here, so I think we need to talk on that. And we've got the copy of the ordinance here. Is there anything else on that? Ordinance? John? You're still looking at
Obviously,
huh?
these ordinances can always be amended, right?
Just have to go through the ordinance process to amend it.
I mean, probably based on our circumstance and situation as we have it today, I'd recommend approval.
Just a public comment?
Well, I don't see where you're addressing the situation that you had earlier with Mr. Bath. He's coming right off his fire line. You're requiring these contractors to put on a meter with the backflow prevention, and yet you have nothing on that property that's stepping off that fire line. I don't know how big his storage tanks are, but you could have a problem, or a potential problem. You're not addressing that as I see it. That could be
Well,
wrong.
I don't think this pertains to that. I don't. This is just.
But thank you for bringing that to our attention.
It's a backflow problem. You're coming off a fire hydrant. You got to address it.
Thank you. Okay, John?
Yeah, I have a motion to approve. The articles.
As written?
Ordinances.
As written?
Yeah, except I will make the amendment to add municipal water department on section B, just so that we're clear what that department is, because it does refer both. to
With
the
some
fire department and
clarification.
water department.
With some clarification to section B. Okay. I'll second that motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item 9, member of clarity, discussion possible action, clarification of responsibility for water and sewer patches.
What my intent here on this particular item is that we have the water department and we have the street department. Okay, and it seems to me it would be realistic to have the street department, who is responsible for the streets, to do the patches that the city water department is estimated. I think you've got two entities, one specifically specified to do that work, and that would be the street department for the street projects and the water department to repair the lines. I just noticed that we're starting to get a lot, I know the water department's replacing a lot of lines, and I think the street department is the one that has all the equipment to repair the streets and probably the knowledge to do it. And I don't see why we have the water department repairing the street when we have the street department.
Good question. Jim or Ron, do you want to help us here?
I think you want to go on like that, so that too.
What was the question?
Well, I believe that the street department should be responsible for repairing the street patches. Okay,
The way it is right now, we've been doing them.
and I do believe, if I'm correct or not correct, aren't you guys a little bit under the gun in these cases?
Oh.
Okay. Doesn't the city of Ely repair or patches the streets besides the city patches?
They contract
Potholes, yeah.
Potholes?
two potholes, but repair work, we've been contracting them out every summer.
The hot patches are contracted out.
Yeah. And it comes out of Ron's budget regardless.
Well, then why is the water department going back and patching it?
Well, what I've seen on this here, we started last year when Carl came on board, he said, we can do some of these. So they've done some of them and they were fixed fast. Because street department, there are 28 days right now, he said.
28 as of yesterday.
See, so street department had the time to do them there, and they started doing them. And the only complaint we ever had on one of the street departments done is up the street here, kitty corner from Lampros' house on Mill Street. It's sunk. But then they started doing it, and it worked out real well. There's some of them that haven't sunk at all. They seem to get better with time with cold mix in them. And we're not going back and patching those ones that are holding up well.
Sure.
Hot mix. They're holding up good. It was just a timing thing. The wrong guys don't good. Thomas and Rick, they'll come in and catch up. But there's 28 of them. We just haven't got. We just hauled asphalt yesterday, so there'll be a rush to start getting some of these done. But Ron does not, as far as I know, before we go patching the water line, a water leak to go patch the dig. It was as time came around. They actually, to tell you the truth, I thought they did a fine job. That could be hard with other people. You know, they burn the seal and.
Well, I just think if you have a street department, that's part of the street department.
And who has the rollers and stuff? That's
The street department.
Street department, so, you would seem to be.
I guess I'm getting confused here too, because now we're contracting all of the street repair, is that?
No, just hot patches, and they have a list that go around, they go with the water department and the street department, pick which ones are in heavily traveled areas or.
But the street department does have the ability to patch.
Oh, yeah, and they do.
Okay.
And in that same token, we would let them use our roller if needed, but I got a handout, I don't know if it'll help clear anything up, but it's just on the city of Ely standards as far as patching utility digs in the streets here. If you want to read it over, and it don't really clarify who's responsible as far as taking care of them, but it would be something that I think Ron and the street crew themselves could work together to get them done. And maybe as we're doing them, working together to try to get them done as soon as we can.
If I understand how this is all working, that's why we have the contract to have road base and fill and all that stored. Ron's guys are fixing it and they're doing the back end lifts up to all the way to the top, and then if time allowed, they go back and go down to wherever it is, 4 inches, 6 inches, pack it back up. They're putting cold mix in the roll and sealing it and rolling on to the next one when time allows. when they're busy doing water line repairs, now we got a hot or cold mix, the street department will come in and do just that, but if we're thinking the street department's gonna come in and backfill the Ron's dig, that's not gonna happen.
Right.
When was this printed?
I could find a date on it, but
I've never seen this before.
yeah.
I've seen,
This is probably, I'm gonna guess, probably,
Yeah, I'm thinking 09.
yeah.
I think it's been within the last 18 months, I believe it's been.
It's been revised or,
Well, I think this has been
okay.
what I remember reading.
And I think
Within the last 18 months, 2 years.
Yeah, just, you go back to excavation dig thing, that right up in there, part of that's in there, but. So, I think, are we just talking about the final 4-inch finish
Yes.
on these things, what we're talking about?
Yeah.
So, this is, just tells you how to backfill it, this is why water department's bought all the backfill material, and they're doing it in, as designated here, when it gets down to it, and again, the water department did it. And I thought they were doing a good job, I still think they're doing a good job, other than maybe the first one that's sunk, which, that's one of the ones, if it's on Mill Street, it's gonna be not matched in. I think even the water department helps the street department helps the water department, it's just get the things passed.
No, I agree. I just,
The water department pays for that cold mix,
Right.
and the whatever oil sealing stuff, they pay for that.
And any hot mixes they pay for too. Yeah.
so the question I have, then, is how many excavations or water laterals has the street department repaired?
In the last year, or just overall, I don't know. We got together, what was it, last summer? And we caught up quite a few there, but they weren't all permanent patches either. It was just some of them
It
were
just seems to be
buildings.
like, I mean, I understand joint efforts, and that's fine. But
I can see where, I mean, when you bring it up and we could be doing a lot of other things
Yeah.
than street patches, of course, that makes sense to me. But the way we've done it prior to this is, whenever we get time, we'll schedule a day.
well, I mean, the actual best time to be, I mean, if you have cold mix, okay, available, here would be my recommendation. Here's how the contractor would do it. Okay, you dug up the street, okay, you put your type 2 in, okay, then you hold it down 3 inches, 2.5 inches, whatever your requirement is. And then you'd have the road department come in and put the cold mix in.
Right.
Instead of coming back on the project.
We
2
should
months
be
later,
doing them as
patch
we
it.
do. Yeah.
Because
That's
I'm
my
seeing
thought too.
It's just patch, they're not patch, it's just open excavations all over.
Yeah.
But the difference is winter time. That's how we get backed up so bad.
Right, I
We can't
understand that.
patch.
And that's what most of these are out there that
That's exactly
need
right.
to be caught up.
But if you have the cold mix available now, I mean, there's like, all the patches are done either on Friday or one specific day. It's nice to coordinate that with the water department to get it done at the same time.
That's a good thought. Yeah. That's a lot of
Especially
good
if cold
things.
mix is holding up, and I like cold mix personally. It works fine. The main thing is getting good compaction, and the water department now has a good compactor.
Right.
And last year, toward the end of the asphalt season, whatever you wanna call it, that's what Carl and his guys are doing. They went and got it, they came back, put it in, sealed it, and rolled on. And one of the biggest things we did is education-wise, is saw cut and dig. Before,
Yes.
they just ripped,
Just rip it.
and it cost us more money. So I think the way it's working right now is working fine. The coordination between the two department heads is working good. We just got the asphalt yesterday, so, and they still got streets to sweep and finish cleaning.
And filling potholes.
And we got summer kids now, so we're just gearing up for the 28 patches we need to do. So we'll be able to put a big dent in them.
The problem you have too is that once you excavate that and you don't go in and repair it right away, then your saw gets cut to stamps.
Right.
So you gotta go back and cut it.
Yeah.
In the wintertime, in the middle of the night, it's just,
Well, the winter is totally different. We gotta do what you gotta do. But the summer right now, I'd just like to see either more coordination or more cooperation from the street department and the water department working together when they're doing these to be unpatched.
So I think that's happening now. We got asphalt and start rolling.
I think that's been accomplished lately, I think. The cooperation thing.
Tiny thing.
So, you want to go anywhere with this, John? Just want clarification of
Yeah, I guess what I just wanted to make sure there was cooperation between the two entities to get it done.
We can actually take parts people too.
No.
Yeah.
All right, so any public comment on this particular item? No? Okay, I'm sorry, we're having a meeting here.
293-0834.
All right, we'll move on to city department reports. Board member, 0834. John?
Just one clarification, or not clarification, one thing we had talked about, with one of the other board, utility board meetings. We had talked about a letter going out to all the contractors, okay, give them a heads up that we do have a backflow policy, no use of fire hydrants, usage.
I haven't done it, I got the price sheet.
Okay.
I don't know, they're not shells.
I mean, exactly, just so the shells, but I mean, just advise, because I mean, right now, some the contractor goes and uses a hydrant. I mean, I'm sympathetic because they don't know any different. They haven't been notified, so.
And actually, John, Ron and myself, we contacted most of them right now, so they're aware of it, but we will send a letter.
I sent it to anybody that had a business license. Just so I mean, you got it covered. People forget.
And that's a business, yeah, and they would again. They would do it.
Anything else, John? Well, yeah, I've got a couple items. One pertains to the city patching that's being done by RTC. And I was a city representative from the utility board, and there's a councilman at an RTC meeting that was representing the council. And it was 100% an agreement 2 years ago that the highest priority street was High Street from the convention center all the way up into First Street. And I'd like on our next agenda, Jennifer, to, address RTC. Because at the time, we wanted to see what water lines, sewer lines, and we had to put in. So all of it, this is a surprise to me that RTC was going to pave Stevens Street, but not carry on with their highest priority, which was High Street from the convention center. We have to know which water lines and sewer lines that we need to repair.
So you're one of the commissioner request list of priorities from the RTC? Yeah, we're out there.
Right, we need something. And then the other thing is, there's a guy by the name of Archie on, I think it's 1150 Mill Street. The city dug up his sidewalk and installed a new shut-off valve. It's been about a year and a half. I think it's 1150 Mill Street. And he said it hasn't been repaired yet.
Is that all the way up the canyon?
I'm just up 1150 Mill Street, just up there.
Okay. We're backed up on those too. We
Okay,
just
I'll tell him.
recently did some, but
And I'll just get in touch with you.
I'll make sure that's on the list.
Okay. All right, thanks, Ron. And the other thing I have to do is compliment the city for cleaning up the streets. The city really looked great. It's been a lot of work and time has been talked about. It's really looked great. Councilman Durgich.
Nothing.
City clerk.
Nothing.
City attorney.
I have a couple of things. First of all, we had some time ago given a 90-day period in which people that had outstanding landfill fees that we would waive their penalties if they came in and paid their accounts in full within 90 days. Has that 90-day period run? Is that the end of June?
June 28th, I think.
Yeah.
Last day.
I'm just waiting for that before I start filing these liens to give them the opportunity to do that. So I just needed to know the date. With regards to the statement by Mr. Chachas during his public comment about the business got water, he says we've never addressed that. We've addressed it many times. Mr. Ulrich does not operate a business within the city of Ely, and so the city of Ely provisions for a business license only apply to businesses that operate within the city of Ely. He also says, with regards to the White River Museum versus his home, that he calls a home. His home is actually a closed business. and he gets charged, as he mentions, we cannot discriminate in a federally funded or assisted utility, and we charge every closed business the same fee. He is being charged the closed business fee for landfill fees, and so we're not discriminating. He's had 2 different judges tell him that.
That's my home.
With
People go in and out of
regards to-
business.
No, right.
With regards to the theft of utilities permit he had requested, that is a criminal case, and while there is a pending case, that is not public information. As soon as the case is complete, then he can request that information, and probably would be best to request that from the sheriff's office. And that's all I have.
Okay. City engineer.
A couple little small items. They're building a new BLM warehouse out by the industrial park. Last week we were dealing with some issues on their new water line project they're doing out there. They were basically begin to go under construction. I hadn't seen the final plans on them, and so then when I did come across to see them, I had a few comments with them. I believe we worked them out. One of them had to do with the depths of that water line. The design on that was calling for 4 feet. We coordinated with them to they're in the process of changing that, and so they would install that at 5 feet each. The other concern that we had on those plans that wasn't shown on the plans was some of this backflow and cross connection situations that we're dealing with. This is a commercial property. They went back and they answered me back and said, hey, that cross connection control stuff is on the plans, but it's basically being installed interior to the building, and so when we were looking at just the civil portion of it, it wasn't shown. So, again, they come back and addressed it with us. We're okay with it because it is interior to the building, protected from frost or freezing, and they said all their connections are coming after that backup device inside the building. So anyway, I believe that thing is taken care of and will be installed properly there. The other thing is recently I did approve a will serve for the East Shoshone tribe. They're installing 5 lots up there on their property. It's been in for a little while. I kind of have delayed it, hadn't acted on it, waiting for, due to the length of that extension, we needed approval from Nevada State Drinking Water. And so finally, to assist them so that they're secure, the project can proceed and go forward, I did basically sign and approve that will serve, but I also told them you couldn't install the water lines until we received that information back from the state, that the state had approved it. So I believe that they're taking care of that before they actually start construction utilities. We should have that in place. Also along that line, when we were dealing with that will serve, I had mentioned to you guys before that we wanted to get back and try to compile some information so that when we come in and we get these will serve, that we have a tabulation of how much water we have available to provide these will serves. I did talk to Nathan Robertson with Dean's office, and Nathan did some coordination back and forth with Dean. He did get some information, but what's happening is that compilation was fairly old. It was back into, I believe it was 2007, and so I'll coordinate with Rob and try to get so we can get that list kind of updated back to who is been provided will serves since that point in time. Dean is correct in what Nathan come back and said. It's kind of hard sometimes because sometimes you approve a will serve, and then that will serve never does go to construction, so that list can kind of fluctuate and vary throughout there. So it could be kind of an accounting nightmare a little bit to track it, but I think it is to keep us in the ballpark of what we have available. I think we should get that thing back up to date to where we are currently. The other things I have on my list, we've already talked about multiple things on the agenda item space, so I think you're well with where we are. One last thing that I do want to, I guess there's 2 things here still. One of them is last week or possibly the week before, I was called up on the High Street to look at a service a sewer lateral up there. This is a situation that arises, like John said when we talked earlier about it here. It's quite regularly where we come in where we get a service lateral that is serving multiple properties. In this circumstance, we were able to coordinate with this gentleman, and thankfully he's working very cordially with his neighbor, so I don't think that will be an issue. But bottom line is that is still a private sewer service lateral that's basically being shared. And fortunately, these two property owners are being cordial and coordinating with each other. And lastly, Mount Wheeler Power did come to me the other day. We had a brief conversation with, they're working up there at their substation. They have, some years back, the city had granted them a power easement to come from that substation on down the hill to tie back in some of that stuff. They are now in the process of beginning to put in their improvements down that easement. One of the things that they came up with as they go prepare to look at this issues is it is crossing through some of these little ditches or whatever that run off of the hill through there. And so they've come back and proposed to us that, hey, we're going to put a culvert, when we hit these ditches that are run off the hill, we're going to put a culvert here to protect our facilities that we put across in here. And so they've come in and proposed to us that they're going to put a 24-inch culverts with head walls in the inlet side at these ditch locations so that they could allow their business to come through there. I didn't see any issue with it at this point in time. He had some things I had to adjust a little bit that I wasn't liking. He had some angle points that we took care of. But I also told him that we were also looking at what our city options are to kind of try to pipe that all the way down to our main storm main down system. And so kind of based on what he has proposed to come in here, I think that we will be able to coordinate and put where there's existing an entrance now, down the road in the future, we'll be able to put a manhole at that location and basically close it all the way down the hill. So there was a little coordination there that happened there so that they could proceed with their work also. That's it. Any questions for me?
Any questions?
Yes. On the Indian property and the reservation, it appears to me like they're doing a lot of the main line extensions in-house.
Well, they haven't started any of the watering. The only thing that I haven't seen that they've started up there is doing some of the grading.
Okay, I mean, but when they do extend the water mains or whatever through there, on the last project they did it in-house.
Yes, but when they do that, it would need to be a licensed contractor that they're dealing with. Installing a city water main.
That's my question.
Yes.
That's a sovereign nation. Do they fall under that or not?
Well, they're the way I look at it, it is our utilities, so they may be sovereign, but they will have to abide by our policies.
The city engineer would be the inspecting engineer.
Yeah, we can go up and coordinate.
Even if it is sovereign nation,
yeah, they're connecting to our utilities, and so as part of that connection, they're agreeing to our.
I guess I'm elaborating to when that happens, and if that is the case, if it's an Indian-owned entity, which usually it is, make sure that there is inspection, and those fees should really be encumbered by the tribe, not by the city of Eden.
Okay.
Okay, and then just one other question on the will serve letters. Has anything ever happened with the aquatic center? We have never been approached with that.
I haven't seen that, but the aquatic center, I think the architect and them are taking care of getting that will serve.
They are working with
Yes.
the building inspector here as well. I know that they have on that. And actually, because that is a county-owned property, as far as building inspections go, it's the county building inspector that takes care of that.
Is that county property then?
It is county property.
And then I guess on the new park improvements, those will be requested for will serves too. Did anybody address that? No.
The park improvements of Bianchi, no, but I haven't seen anything.
I was just curious. I haven't seen anything come through the board, so I just.
Yes, no, I have not.
Hoping we weren't getting served that.
Anything else? Thank you.
Thanks, BJ. Landfill supervisor.
Nothing new.
Water sewer supervisor.
Have two things. Yesterday we had a leak on Nevada Avenue, and it's in the new paved section. And what it was an existing old service that ran to a lot that had never been terminated. So we had to dig up and terminate it. So we did cut into new asphalt. So we have a budget for next fiscal year to patch that in. So it'll be a pretty good sized hot patch. And then on the wells, we went around and made sure all of our wells are up and running good so that we can operate while RW6B's down. So I think we should be okay.
You test run them?
Yes.
But none of them are currently in operation?
No. Not yet. They're close.
You got a question, Ron?
Yes.
On that North Street, not North Street, 10th Avenue in, do that whole thing on that one there. Fix it off, just start. Gonna go over the